Hey, Joe here. I'm the custodian at ignitiondiecast.com, but this channel is mostly a video diary of my personal collecting, hijinks, successes, failures. Walk with me now as I open and talk about cars, trucks, and sometimes even action figures. I usually interject some sassy Gen X commentary about the hobby, tales from the toy aisle, and society itself. So be sure to like, subscribe, share, and definitely comment. Your opinion matters. Good morning. Joe here from Ignition Diecast. I am drinking my coffee, and yes, there really is coffee in these cups. There's nothing fake going on here. It's Freestyle Friday with a little bit of feedback. Nothing too freaky. I mean, yeah, nothing really freaky. Maybe the questions I got answered are a little freaky. But let's jump right into the cars. I ordered these 4 Escort RS1600s. Why did I do that? Because my buddy Jody also collects these, and he just finished his whole set. He has every single one. And I got a little, not jealous, but inspired by the fact that he did that. So I placed 2 orders from the terrorists on eBay and got some. This one is interesting because I already have it, but if you'll notice, it's a tampo malfunction. I won't call it an error because that's so controversial in the diecast community, but this got misstamped. You can see the silver from the door handle is too low, and that stripe is supposed to be, this is the other color of the same car. The stripe is supposed to be a horizontal, and it along the side of the car, and it dumps way down to the side. So without calling it an error, it's a tampo. It's decorated. So I think I'm going to keep this in the package because some people do really like these things, and maybe I can use it for trade bait and trade for something really cool, because I don't particularly care about tampo issues, misprints, errors, and I already have this car, so I'm gonna put that aside. Here's the debut, and it's a Fast and Furious. I guess I don't remember. I only saw the first 4 movies, and I don't really remember shit about them. So I guess this is Brian's car. There's the debut with clear fog lights, gold rims, chrome interior, blue bottom. Here is this other one, also Brian's car, from the Fast and Furious. This was before they called it Silver Label, so pretty similar vehicle. Let's open them up and compare them. Here's that one, also with clear gold rims and a chrome interior. What's the difference? I guess this one's a little metal flaky. You can see that in the camera. And this one is more like blue. So there is a difference. 2 different entries in the known databases of the RS1600. And here's just Hot Wheels labeled one. I guess it's also Brian's car. Does this say Fast and Furious? Guess not. I don't see Fast and Furious anywhere on here. Let me make sure. Nope. Hot Wheels 50. It's a 50th anniversary commemorative paint job. Ooh, it's got an orange base. That's kind of neat. Black interior, clear fog lamps. So my RS1600 boxes are not in order, but let me show you what they look like. So here's box number 1, 1974 Escort RS1600. And these are not in order. I just threw them in there. Those are the ones that I have. And I'm not going to talk you through them. You can just take a look. And since there's more than 24, I have a second box, but it's going to bleed right into the RS2000, which are the two Ford Escorts that I like the most. I got rid of the Escort Rally Escort, Ford Escorts. So there's nothing in this box but 2000s at the moment, and those are the four that I have. And I don't think there's very many. This might be all of them. I don't know. If there's more than this, there isn't more than a few more than these. But this is going to be a 1600 and a 2000 box eventually. But not a priority. I just got all excited because Mr. Sims finished his collection. And these boxes, these Plano 24, man, the price is crazy. They went down for a little while. Like 3 years ago, I used to get them for about $8, which is why I have a lot of them. And then the price went up to like $15. And then it went down again to $11, and I ordered a few more. But now they're back up again at Amazon to like $15 a piece, and that seems a little high, like about at least $5 high. And what's funny is if you look on Grainger, they want like $90 for one of these things. And I actually saw one listed on eBay for over $100. And then there's another place where they want over $100. Like, what is going on? Is this tariffs? These things molded in China or something? I don't get it. So I do need at least 6 more of those things for now. And I like the Kids Lane jammer boxes that hold 48, but they aren't quite, I don't know, they just don't, I like those a little bit less than I like the Plano boxes. So I'm like desperate for finding a good source for inexpensive Planos. So the other treat I have for you today is 5 Mainlines for the Ignition Diecast Master Set. It's the archive, but that word is confusing for some people. So they know about the Mattel Master Set, and since everything that goes into the archive is pretty much what you get in those master sets, I'm calling it the Ignition Diecast Master Set. And yeah, we don't have shit for 60s or 70s cars. Kind of focusing on the last couple decades at the moment. So here's the blue recolor of the Drift Ender. It's a Defender Drift Ender. It's a Drift Land Rover Defender. Get it? And it looks like a 90 to me. I was going to keep one of these because I recently started collecting Land Rover 90s. But I didn't. Just for the sake of space. So here's the blue one. Ready to rock. Ready to drift. The blue Kia, I think that's the recolor, right? Wasn't there like a purple one earlier this year? Don't do Kias. I have much respect for the brand, but just don't do this one. And I think this is an EV too. It's like, yeah, it's electric. And I'm one of those dinosaurs that isn't really into electric cars. Teal Kia. Custom Kia EV6. I'm just going to keep the glasses on, all right? EV6. The VW T3 Custom, meaning it's the 3rd generation of the Volkswagen Transporter. And I did keep one of these. I kept one of the gold ones, and I kept one of these cream blue ones. The part of the car that's metal, that's what Mattel usually calls it. So this would be beige or cream. Look at that vent. The whole rear of the vehicle is a arrow, whatever, vent. But that looks familiar, right? And I would imagine this is based on something Japanese that the Japanese would do. But I don't know if this is American. There's even vents up there. This whole thing is arrow as hell. But yeah, I kept one of these. This one going to the archive. Here is a Lotus Cortina And this has been pretty popular. Good seller, I guess, from a retail standpoint. At least now, when it's not really readily found at Walmart or Target, but it'll die off as soon as people can get it for $1.19. I don't collect Lotuses, Lotai, but it's a pretty cool car. I think if somebody was into like vintage, small, Bimmer 2002 type cars, this would be a must-have. And it's got a really nice candy-like paint job. And lastly, the Alfa Romeo Giulia T1 Super, or TI, sorry. TI Super. Man, that chrome really reflected what happened there. I put it up there real quick and it got really blue. That's better. So I don't collect. I recently decided to start keeping the Alfa V6 3.0s and these, but not the old ones. And like I said, if you're really into like old boxy Datsun 510, BMW 2002 type cars, a must have. And this has been a good seller too, because it's early days and people aren't finding it anywhere but online at the moment. Nice one. Those are the archive. Oh, I got some other archive ads. I know I wasn't going to name drop anybody, but these 5 came from Bad Dad, an El Viento, and these other 4, I honestly don't know what they are, so maybe they look familiar to you. This thing, this thing, this looks familiar, but I don't remember what it's called. Cool purple. And this in yellow. Got a little bit of damage, so it'll go in as green, but still worth adding because we need one of every single mainline ever made. That's it. That's all I got for cars. So here's the feedback part, and you can stop watching now and go back to Call of Duty or TikTok or whatever. I got 2 questions, and they're awesome questions. I love trolly, hateful comments like this, but I'm gonna answer them seriously, as if they're meant to be treated seriously. The first one is, what's with the liberal paper you use for packing material? What are you trying to say? I'm not trying to say anything, dude. That paper, well, first of all, I live near Athens, Georgia, which is a very liberal, lefty, educated kind of area, and it's a sort of an island in an otherwise red state. So there in Athens, they have this entertainment, culture and entertainment paper, which I use for packing material. And it's not a promotion of that paper, nor a diss of that paper, the fact that I use it for packing material. It's simply to avoid it winding up in the recycle bin, because it comes out weekly, every Wednesday, I think. So by Tuesday, anything that's left in the grocery store is just going to go to the recycle bin. So I grab them and probably go through like maybe 10 a week. It's either that or grocery store flyers or whatever I could scrounge from the recycle bin to save us both money. So I'm not trying to say anything. It's just a free paper that I grab to crumple up because it's newspaper. And the crossword's pretty good, though. If you're into crossword puzzles, check that one out, if you're lucky enough to get one in your box. And the other question, this is probably the single best question anyone has ever asked. Why do you always look like death warmed over? Dude, it takes a lot of work to look like death warmed over. I mean, I wasn't born like this. Like, I actually have to prepare to look like shit every day to get on YouTube and talk about cars. Just kidding. I think what you're seeing is that I film these when I first get up, before I've had a shower, so I have a bed head. I literally roll out of bed. I haven't even brushed my teeth yet because I'm still drinking coffee. So I drink coffee, talk about cars, and this is sort of a documentary style, pure, unfiltered, raw vlog, and that's why I look like shit, I guess. And I wanted to say one last thing. I think a feature of these videos every day, not just Fridays, is going to be like a parting shot. If you're old enough to remember this bit that used to be at the end of 60 Minutes until he died, called Andy Rooney, and like the last couple minutes, I think it was like 5 minutes of 60 Minutes, they would give to this guy, Andy Rooney, who I assume is a journalist of some sort. But he was an old curmudgeon, and he'd just sort of like take the piss out of some topic or whatever. And even as a kid, when I would watch that, that was my favorite part of 60 Minutes, because I liked his attitude, and it seemed like he was talking straight and not full of shit like most of the talking heads on television in the 70s. And anyway, so in these videos, I thought that it would be fun to just have like a parting shot, probably rename that eventually, but just sort of a thought to leave you with. And it won't always be negative. I'm not really an angry person. This week I was thinking about, somebody sent me a card that was a mail-in from Reader's Digest, and it got me thinking about the fact that I haven't really seen a Reader's Digest. They used to be about this big, like little magazines. And my mom used to subscribe, or maybe my grandmother subscribed to it and had it for my mother or something like that. Back in the 70s and 80s, Publishers Clearinghouse was really big deal. And I think people believed, if I remember right, the more you subscribed to magazines, the better your chances were of winning or whatever. But so our house got Reader's Digest and Good Housekeeping from my mom, and my stepdad got Sports Illustrated and Rolling Stone. And I was more of a music kid than I was sports, but I did read some of the Sports Illustrated. So my point is, this was before internet, before social media, before we all had smartphones. And you just read stuff. Like you'd be like sitting on the toilet or eating your cereal in the morning, and you'd read this stuff because it was around. Like I had zero interest in Good Housekeeping or Sports Illustrated really, but I would read the articles. And Reader's Digest I would read a lot of, especially the humor. I'd read like the humor part, like Humor in Uniform. And there were like 5 or 6 little one-pagers that had like jokes and funny anecdotes. So I'd read that first, but I wound up reading a lot of the articles too. Like I found out about Joseph Mengele from Reader's Digest. You'd get a lot of random information. Same with television. Like back in the day, you only had like 3 channels, ABC, CBS, and NBC, plus PBS. And you'd watch stuff just because it was on. Like, not that you had a particular interest in it. And especially PBS. I lived in the country, so we got CBS and PBS. And for some reason, where I grew up near Canada, the PBS station was a Canadian PBS station. So I'd see a lot of animal shows and a lot of old movies and just weird shit, like children's shows from Canada. Anyway, I'm losing my point. The point is, my generation, which is kind of what you'd call Gen X, learned a lot of stuff, gleaned a lot of information kind of accidentally because it was around, like the magazines or the TV shows you'd watch. You didn't have a particular interest in, but it'd sink in. So you'd be kind of well-rounded and you had more information. And these days, I think that's really lost, because I don't think a young person these days learns anything unless they make a point of it, unless they're instructed to in school or it's something they want to learn about. And I don't think that young people really want to learn about much. They just want to be entertained. So my point is, I think Gen X and back are more well-informed and more intelligent. Maybe not more intelligent. More, we have more stuff in our heads than millennials and Gen Z, who only learn when they're forced to. So I think that we have a lot of accidental knowledge. So take with that what you will. Hopefully this video is brighter than yesterday. It was very dark yesterday because I'm just learning this phone. And I think I got it. I think I figured it out. And I think the autofocus should be better too. So anyway, have a good day. Remember to keep it fun. This is just toys. It's just a hobby. It's not a competition. And no one really gives a shit about your toys. So if you're winning or you're losing, whatever,